Alrighty, so welcome everyone. I see people slowly starting to trickle into the Zoom room, so we'll give it maybe like a minute or two just to let people flow in, and then we will go ahead and get started. But welcome. For those of you that are just tuning in, welcome. Please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat as well if you would like to, if you want to say your name and maybe where you're zooming in from this evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time of day it may be for you. Hello, hello from Virginia, Rhode Island. Awesome. Okay. East Coast representation. LA. Awesome. Puerto Rico. Pakistan. So cool. Awesome. Well, yes, please, everyone, keep introducing yourselves in the chat. Feel free to make some new friends while you're here. But I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, welcome. My name is Gabrielle Villaume. You can all call me Gabby. I'm an assistant director of admissions here at Skidmore, and I am so excited to welcome you to our Creative Thought Works series. This series aims to amplify Skidmore outcomes through monthly themed panels that reach a large audience of prospective students across the country and around the world. So, our session today is titled Creative Thought Works, Working with AI. I'm going to ask our wonderful panelists, who are a mix of faculty, alumni, and current students, to introduce themselves before we begin our moderated discussion, which will be recorded and available on the admissions website. Afterwards, we'll move to a Q&A session where panelists will be available for questions submitted through the chat feature. So, with that, panelists, please go ahead and share your name, class year if applicable, professional title, your major minor, and I'd love to go alphabetically if that would be okay by first name. So, if we could start with Ozzy Azul.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Azizul Hakim. I'm a senior majoring in computer science and engineering. I'm minoring in sociology. Um, on campus, I'm part of different cultural, academic clubs. Yeah, that's about me.
Beautiful, thank you. Cole, do you want to go next?
Hi everyone, my name's Cole Rogan. I'm a business major. I'm a senior from Mount Olive, New Jersey. Around campus, I was on the Skidmore men's soccer team up until the end of the season.
Amazing, great. Let's go over to Matt.
Oh, you mixed me up there.
I
Kind of
did.
go with it, please.
Sorry
So,
about
yeah.
that.
Hi, everybody. I'm Professor Matt Lucas, a professor at Skidmore in the business department. I teach classes called AI-powered selling and sales. I teach another course called Foundations of Business with Generative AI. And I teach a third course this semester called MB 107, which is the Introduction to Business Strategy class that many aspiring majors or business majors take as their first business course before they get into other parts of the curriculum. So very involved in the campus, very involved with artificial intelligence and using it in the classroom, out of the classroom, and as part of the campus community. So excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. I took MB 107 back in the day too. And finally, Kanika.
I also took MB 107 back in my days. I'm kidding. Hi everyone, I'm Kanika. I am a recent graduate, class of 2025. I majored in computer science and minored in business. And along with that, I was also a student athlete, played tennis for 4 years on campus, was very involved with just admissions, doing other on-campus jobs, and just being like Skidmore has helped me being an all-around person. So yeah, super excited to be here.
Awesome. And we're so excited to have you back on a panel, Kanika. So thank you all so much for those introductions. Let's go ahead and get right into our moderated discussion here. So I think it would be only right if we started this panel with each of you just explaining some of the work that you've done with AI, whether that be on Skidmore's campus, off Skidmore's campus. I think it would be really beneficial for our students that are zooming in today to just hear about all the amazing stuff you guys have worked with. Does anyone want to kick us off?
I guess I will, since we're all being
Sure,
pretty quiet and shy.
go for it.
Happy to jump in there. Obviously, with me being involved with AI, at least in an academic framework, I have a pretty unique view of using AI in the classroom as part of an education experience and what that looks like. And I've really enjoyed that, seeing students go from novice AI users to very involved, and even involved so far as to getting into career planning with what does the career futures mean for students graduating from Skidmore, and what does it look like to be both human and with human skills, deep thinking and critical thinking and creative thought, amplified with artificial intelligence. So I get to see that every day in the classroom and outside the classroom. Outside the class, I'm involved with the AI work group, which reports to President Connor on the campus. So I get to see AI across the disciplines, whether it's finance or advancement or HR or other functions across the college. So I've got a good view across the college, which is helpful as well. And then outside of Skidmore, I do a little bit of consulting when there's not academic calendars going on, and involved with corporate America doing consulting with some large corporations. So get a nice surrounding view of what AI means overall. Very involved, as you can expect.
That's great. Thanks, Matt. And I'm wondering, can I go to Cole next? Because
Yeah.
you're both in a class while you're taking Professor Lucas's class right now.
Yeah. So I think it was last semester, I took Professor Lucas's AI selling and sales class, which I enjoyed a lot, and I've pursued AI tools and whatnot since then. And then over this past summer, I was a Gen AI intern at Selective Insurance, which is an insurance company in Branchville, New Jersey. And there, my role was basically going across the different teams, across the entire company, and coming up with use cases where AI tools could help save workers' time. I would say most, if not all, of the skills that I learned that I was able to apply came from Professor Lucas's class, and just having the knowledge of where different AI tools can be used. And then so we were talking about it before, but this semester I'm in another one of Professor Lucas's AI classes. So it's going well, and yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Cole. Kanika, Azizul, do you want to jump in?
Sure. Um, so my experience in AI also started at Skidmore. So I took a computer science class in, I think it was like spring of 2023. And that's where my professor was teaching more about deep learning. So it was a heavy topic, just learning about the models, what kind of AI models exist, and how like the networks work together. So after that semester, I reached out to that professor saying, "Hey, I want to do like more research with you." And that's where I got involved in a fun project. And we were working to create an AI chatbot. And our project was called Deepfake Dad. So I'm pretty sure like all of you guys on campus have seen the telephone booth in the library where there's like a person who talks on the phone. I forget how like exactly. So I was working with that professor in the arts department, and we were creating this AI chatbot for her dad. She lost a few years ago, and we were just using all the data that he had from all his writings and all the letters, and then just combining them. And I was mainly responsible for data cleansing and how to come up with creative prompts for making sure that our retrieval augmented generation was being able to make better prompts and was able to communicate and simulate the same like emphasis of that person's dad. And so finally we were able to finish this project, and that was something like really rewarding and made me even more excited about AI world. And right now I work as a software engineer, but we use a lot of vibe coding, which is like also an AI generated tool. So like you still have the computer science skills, but I still am able to transfer them using the AI skills that I built at Skidmore, and just being able to be good at prompt making and being able to help the company get better. So yeah.
Hanukkah, that project that you were just talking about sounds so cool. And I really just think that speaks so much to Skipmore's interdisciplinary nature, just combining, your skill set in computer science, but you're also taking that to the art department. I think that's just classic, classic Skipmore. So that's so awesome. But finally, Azizul.
Oh, one quick note I wanted to add that is that telephone booth is still here. So like that's still running, and hopefully you come back
Awesome.
sometimes, Connie, and try that out again. Um, my journey in I would say like as a computer science major, like whenever ChatGPT started growing, I guess it was like a buzzword kind of thing, and it kind of like I guess it's not something generic to comp sci students, like it's for everybody. Like we are in this big transitionary phase where we are interacting with AI every day, and the AI that we use is basically actually machine learning, the models that generate like languages. So the AI that we're using is not actually AI, but like people are saying AI a lot, and like it's getting up there as a buzzword. So I was very interested in that. Like as a comp sci major, I should get into it and learn more like how do things get back. Like so we type something in ChatGPT and something magically comes to us. So that's when I started the prompt. I started my first class at Dartmouth when I was doing the dual engineering program, um, taking a machine learning course. There I learned some basics of machine learning slash AI, but I didn't get too deep until I researched at Skidmore during last summer. So last summer, I was working with the faculty here at Skidmore, Professor Manludu. We were doing an interesting project. I am from a very urban place. I'm from Bangladesh, and we have a bunch of traffic going on where I'm from. So the whole project was about traffic lights and how we can use traffic lights uh, systematically, so we can figure out like how we can optimize them. um, so we use a bunch of like deep reinforcement learning algorithms that would learn from different experiences a simulation does, and try to reward based on like whether the simulation that we are running is good or bad. Let me put it this way. Like for my research, like I put a case study. It was Saratoga Springs, the main intersection. So I went there in person, got the data in hand, like checking like how the demand works, and basically based on that, I tried to replicate that on a simulator virtually, and we tried to see like how the traffic light currently works. The traffic light has a fixed time set now, like 45 seconds green light, 10 seconds maybe red light, something like that. But if we kind of tamper that and based on like how much queue builds up based on like how traffic light works versus how the queue builds up when our algorithm works, we figured out that like using reinforcement learning helps a bunch. And although like this is a very niche topic, some parts in the US have started implementing it, like AI in traffic lights. So it was very cool to get some hands-on approach to that. I am also a sociology minor, so it was interesting for me to understand the sociological aspects of AI as well when I was doing this research, like trying to figure out the demand, engineering it so that it's helpful for people. Yeah, and from there, I'm still doing the research now, trying to make it more accessible for people to understand. Yeah.
So, Azizul, I knew I wanted you on this panel because I think the Skidmore Instagram, I think they posted you or something, and I read that you were doing that research, and I was like, that
Hmm.
is so cool. So yeah, and later when we get to the Q&A, if anyone zooming in, if you have any questions about any of the classes, research that anyone on this panel has done, please ask those questions because they've done some pretty cool stuff, and they would love to answer those questions. But I want to keep moving on. So at Skidmore, we believe that creative thought matters. That's our motto. It informs everything that we do here. And it really is just a huge distinction of Skidmore. We created this series to help prospective students and their families understand this difference. So my question to you all is, how did Creative Thought Matters influence your experience at Skidmore in a general sense? But how did it also influence and prepare you for the work that you've done with AI?
If I can jump in here, Gabby, it'd be helpful. I think for everybody on the call here, one of the things that is special about Skidmore is this creative thought matters. And in this time of AI disruption in education, it's really an interesting time for us because to be more human means to be more curious and more creative
Mhm.
with deeper thinking. And it's really challenging to do that with the speed of technology layered on top of that. So in our environment with small classrooms and our creative thought, orientation, already Skidmore is giving advantages to everybody who comes here because we can unlock the best of our humanity, our human skills, our ability to create friendships, to have teamwork, and to work in small class environments to really get into this really interesting learning environment where human skills have to be at their max and maximum learning and maximum performance, and layering in our AI experiences to really make a more complete experience out of somebody's potential future. So we have distinct advantages at Skidmore there that are really interesting to see students embracing both sides, the creative side, the human side, and this now technology assisted side that we have to work through. And we get to see it every day. And admittedly, there are times where there's conflicts. We have situations where, there are some courses where AI is not included at all. It's just not, because it's a humanities course or an arts course or an opportunity of a creative writing course where it's really more about deep human thinking and contributions to each other first. And then there are other courses like the ones we've described where they're AI enabled, AI infused, AI, whatever you want to call them, so that we're able to really build out skills in a different way. So we get both going here, opportunities to be really human, and then opportunities to really learn some of the leading edge thinking around this area. So it's really a great time for creative thought matters to come together.
Yeah, I think that's so important to emphasize. Yeah, Azizul.
I could go next. I love talking about creative thought matters. I just love the motto. Um, it's not only because like it's a serious motto, like creative thought matters. Like at Skidmore, we kind of take it in a funny way as well. Like whenever somebody does something goofy or something funny, they say, "Hey, creative thought matters." Like I think the student body kind of embodies the idea of creative thought matters. And mostly where I see that like that's very much prominent is their choice of majors. Like I have friends who do like crazy combinations of things, like dance and business. Like I'm doing computer science and sociology. Like I think there's this kind of environment here that appreciates people trying to merge things together and being creative out of it. So there's my 2 cents about creative thought matters. In the AI sphere, recently in like my comp sci classes, um, our professors have started taking this approach where they want to integrate AI in some way because I know Konika mentioned about vibe coding. Like it's increasingly going forward, like how we can put AI into our coding sphere. So like for one of my classes called programming languages, uh, each week we talk about one article from like any magazine that talks about like how AI is not working. And the next time when we do the lab, the professor kind of tries to make us do the prompting using AI. for like completing the program, and we cannot get it done. It's like AI has its limit, and we kind of need to accept that and try to figure out things by itself. So like trying to make sure it is a tool instead of um, just blindly following it. So I guess we are also being taught in our classes like how to leverage AI, not use AI in our work.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Nazizo, again, I think the combination that you have there with computer science and sociology kind of goes back to Matt's point too, just combining, the human side with the technology side too. So I think that's a really cool combination.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I wanted to go off of Professor Lucas's point with the human side of it. So what I've experienced so far is that the more creative you are when using the AI tools, the better off you're going to be. So, like I mentioned with the internship that I worked, it was for an insurance company. And when I learned how to use all these AI tools, we weren't in class learning how to use AI tools to benefit an insurance company. Uh, so it's really how creative can you be when you have the skills to use AI? I feel like AI is headed in a direction where anything a human can think of, AI is going to be able to do. So it's about how creative can you be and how many different use cases can you find? How can you look at somebody's tasks and think to yourself, oh, I can save them time using an AI tool here, here, and here. Which, when you draw that back to Skidmore, uh, it's all about creativity, the liberal arts education. I'm a business major and I came here to play soccer, and I've done so many more things than just take business classes and play soccer. I've taken history classes. I took a dance class, which high school me would have never thought that I would take a dance class, but I did it. So yeah, I think overall creativity is just as important as having the skills in AI. It's what allows you to go from just using AI in school to hopefully progressing it into a career.
That's awesome. Great. And Kanika, did you want to add on to any of that?
And they all said it all perfectly. So, but yeah, I think like creative CTM, like literally as Azizel said, like anything we do would be like, okay, that's CDM. So, I think it's important in liberal arts education, like what Skidmore provides is like just the way like my mind has been trained. Like, what are the new ways to approach a problem? There's no right answers. Like, you have to find your own answers. And like the professors, like even Professor Lucas is like really open to like having students tell him in his class that, oh, like if there's a new way, like I'm happy to learn and work with you guys. So like I think it's like a hand in hand, as you said, human connection and a human effort, but along with that also having that technological skill. Like for example, you're going into ChatGPT, every prompt is a creative act. Like we all could type in a different prompt for same thing and we would get different answers. So I think it's just a way like you're being creative with things that you learn in school, but also being able to translate, as Cole said, like he didn't know about insurance company, but like still being able to be creative and just being able to be open to learning is something that Skidmore has taught. And that's what like is important in your college career where you're like starting off, just being open, being creative, curious, and just not like settle down is something that I've learned. Like just be always curious. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. And it's such an interesting way to think about it, right? So, yeah, I mean, I guess I want to ask just one more question. And I guess it's a bit more of a general question, not specifically about AI, but the admissions team, we get a lot of questions about how Skidmore prepares students for strong outcomes after Skidmore. So I'm kind of curious to, Cole, Azizul, Kanika, what kind of tools has Skidmore equipped you with that have allowed you to be successful in your life during college? So, senior year, or Kanika for after college.
I could go
Great.
first.
Yeah.
I feel like Skidmore gave me a really well-rounded experience, be it in terms of like technical skills, soft skills in classes, or just real life experience, like MB 107, which was really amazing. Like right up in the first year, you're put into doing like a real project and then presented to the executives. Really great experience. But academically, like taking computer science courses and business courses in different departments and just being able to take like different language courses, that's something like was really important because it helped me have a foundation where I was learning a lot of technological skills in classes, but then outside of that, just being able to take different courses in like language department, history department. So just being able to like have that open-mindedness of learning of about different topics and not just like being focused towards two things that I want to learn. So that was really important. And also having the opportunity to play tennis for like 4 years was really great for leadership, just getting a lot of the experience working in team. Like we also have group projects in class, but like also being with the team, like you have another experience outside, and being able to manage my time on and off court was something that was important. And also having more than 100 clubs on campus was really exciting because we would never be bored. Like I'm at different club events, like be it a history club event to a cultural club, like we have Hayat. So that was really cool. So you still like I was an international student, so I still get the touch of like a touch to my own like country's culture. We all just come together, celebrate it together. And just overall, like I believe having that experience as a sports player, doing research, doing on campus jobs, and being like all these experiences have taught me how to communicate well, being a creative problem solver, working like across different disciplines, and just being able to balance like academics and athletics and having that people skill because that's something is really important in outside world. Like you can be the most smartest kid, but if you don't have those people skills, like you're not going to be the best candidate. Like you could have 4.0 GPA, but if you have other skills that are also as high level, you could be a 3.5 kid and still be able to stand out. So I think Skidmore has given me a lot of great experiences for 4 years. And so I'm really happy to be back here. Although, like, why would I not be? Yeah.
I think that is such great advice, Kanika, truly. And I think it's just taking advantage of all the things and, not being afraid to put yourself out there, I think is such a big one. I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier when I was introducing myself, I'm also an alum, graduated in 2021. And looking back on my Skidmore experience, I wish I put myself out there more. So don't be afraid to try all the things. So I think that's really, really great advice, Kanika. Cole, Azizul, anything you want to add? Being a senior?
Yeah, I think that the greatest tool, or I'll call it an asset, of being a student at Skidmore is the professors. So specifically, I've never been to any other schools. Obviously, I've only been at Skidmore, but at Skidmore, you're not sitting in a massive lecture hall. You're sitting in a classroom with 25 students, and that allows you to build a real relationship with your professor if that's what you choose. So going to them for questions about anything, about career path, stuff in class, having them come to your games. It's a really awesome experience being able to have such a personal connection with your professors. And with that, in general, I feel as if a lot of the professors at Skidmore didn't necessarily set out to be professors. They all worked in the real world and had jobs that, for example, I want. So it's nice to have them for connections and networking and being able to lean on them as a senior now who's looking for a job.
Yeah, totally. Those faculty connections are so, so important. And I mean, the Career Development Center is so great too. Um, I used the Career Development Center and my professors so much, and we can talk a little bit more about that resource as well later. But Ozzy Soul, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, both of my peers talked about like how the community aspect of Skidmore, either the professors or people. I think like growing here as an adult, like in college, like I really enjoyed the fact that how everyone was very open-minded. And like the whole environment is Skidmore is like very supportive. So that really helped me excel myself in any kind of opportunities I went for, like rather it be like different clubs and organizations, rather it be doing research. Like I would be more open to do things because there was that support from the environment. Um, I wanted to put a quick example here. Like I started my sociology career here, like my minor here, from my Scribner seminar. Scribner seminars are like courses that all freshmen have to do. They choose from a different array of topics. I'm a peer mentor for a Scribner seminar this semester. Uh, like how the seminars run is like they are mostly focused as intro to college, but they are also an expertise of the professor itself. For example, my professor is a sociologist, a quantitative sociologist who um, looks into how maps work. So our seminar was based on that. So we learned a bunch of tools on ArcGIS, like creating maps, making maps. We made a map of our D hall. Oh, by the way, we call our dining hall D hall. Um, make a map of that, make a map of the world, like where the international students come from. So like the learning tool part started from my freshman year. And I remember starting research from my freshman spring, actually. So you can basically start research as early as your freshman spring. So I kept working with him and got a paper published by the end of my sophomore year. So it was like very like welcoming for me. Like as a freshman in his spring semester, I would have never thought of joining a research group and finally getting that paper out. So that helped a lot. Even in like my comp sci department right now, I have multiple options. Like the professors have a wide array of interests in their own fields. So I can choose like from AI, VR, mobile computing to like semantics and programming languages. So there's a wide array of things to choose from as well. And finally, one more thing I would say another kind of soft skill that Skidmore hones on students is like the writing aspect of it. Like all of my or like most of my courses have had some sort of writing and presentation. Like I being here now at my senior year, I wouldn't have really thought about like whether I could be this eloquent of a speaker in my freshman year. Like I was pretty shy and all, but like Konica has talked about like ME 107, like that course literally puts you out there in front of executives from the real company. Um, and this is just one example, but like all of the courses here try to do something collaborative, something writing based, something um, that helps you like think through the things in a collaborative manner. So like that definitely helped me a lot.
That's awesome. Well, thank you all so much for those really insightful, helpful answers. That was so great. But I think at this time, I kind of want to move on to our Q&A portion of our event. So, prospective students in the Zoom room, please feel free to submit questions to our wonderful panelists using the chat feature available at the bottom of your screen. As those start rolling in, I'll start relaying any questions asked to our panelists. But you know, given that this event is a chance for all of you to engage with our students, alums, faculty regarding their experiences at Skidmore, we do ask that you try to refrain from asking questions about the admissions process. So instead, ask questions about their time here at Skidmore. So go ahead and start sending in those awesome questions, and we'll go ahead and get rolling. And I see we already have a lot of wonderful questions. So I will start reading some of these out. We did get one a while ago that I will read out to the group. And panelists, feel free to answer. If you all want to answer a question, great. If one of you wants to answer, also totally fine. But first question I'll ask, how will Skidmore measure student impact in AI advancement beyond graduation metrics? What specific resources will be allocated to foster student-faculty research collaborations, translating liberal arts-informed AI concepts into publishable real-world solutions?